I think my favorite moment from this episode was when 𝗟𝗘𝗘𝗡𝗘𝗡 knew the anatomy of female genitalia more than most cis straight men. Hello and welcome to the Devil's Armpit. It is hotter than hell here today, and I'm mad about it. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you see me sweating, no you don't. No, you don't. Welcome to Drag Me, the show where I, Leeja Miller, your lost bisexual friend who doesn't know what she's talking about, react to Drag Race for fun. At least it's fun for me. I don't know about you. Today we're reacting to episode 3 of All Stars 7, The Realness of Fortune Ball. All right, and I will say this weekend I went to my first drag brunch. I've been to drag shows before, but it was my first drag brunch, and I understand why you ladies love doing a drag brunch, because those ones were flowing, all right? It was a good time. I don't think it's my favorite way to consume drag, because it is very like suburban gal comes to the city for a crazy morning, but it was a good time. And I got to see both Mercedes Iman Diamond, a local Drag Race alum, as well as Jaden Dior Fierce from season 7, which is one of the only seasons I've ever seen, so that was kind of thrilling. And they did great. They looked beautiful. It got sunny and hot out there, but they really gave it their all. So that's my thrilling update as I delve further and further into the world of Drag Race. All right, but let's delve into the Realness of Fortune Ball episode, shall we? So they started the show off by trying to make the girls solve a puzzle, which is always funny. I feel like a lot of the girls, like book smarts aren't their thing. I feel like every time anything like this comes up in a Drag Race season, they all start like quaking in their boots in a way that like they don't seem to quake in their boots as much over, you know, a really hard runway or another challenge that I personally would find horrifying. So, you know, different strokes for different folks, you know what I mean? Some of these girls, I don't know if they had weird rules that we weren't told about, but they were guessing some, I don't know, not the letters I would guess. Z? And then Jinx guesses the letter N, and there is an N, and then she guesses Vanna White Party, which I don't really know how she got that, unless they already knew that Vanna White was one of the themes for the runway coming up. But I really feel like, and this was commented on one of my past videos, that they are setting Jinx up for a win. I feel like, or maybe for an upset. Because right now, if it's clearly monsoon season, and they're being kind of obvious about it in a way that makes me nervous, because I am getting very won over by Jinx, and I do feel like they're maybe setting her up for some sort of big upset later. Or maybe it's just predictable and she's gonna do great this whole season and win, and they're setting her up for that now. I'm curious though, I haven't seen anyone clearly getting a villain edit on this season, which I know Drag Race loves to do. What are our theories on villains, if any, during this season? I know we've got some like alliances forming, and so I'm getting some vibes from like Trinity the Tuck and Monet Exchange, but even that, like, they're not being mean. Like, there's nothing unlikable really about what they're doing. They're just trying to strategize in a way that seems kind of shady, but also I think it's not a good idea. Which later in this episode, they try to pull Jinx in to their alliance, and Jinx said exactly what I said in my last episode, and what I've been thinking is, why would you form an alliance? Because you don't know how this is going to shake out, and you don't know if someone you form an alliance with is going to become your biggest competition. You're going to just sacrifice a win because you said you were going to be in an alliance with them, and then can you trust them? Are they going to go back on their word about being an alliance? It just sounds like a mess and a bad idea. So I think the girls that they approached and tried to get them into their alliance were smart to be like, no, thank you. All right, so Jinx wins, and then she gets to spin first on this big giant wheel, which again, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories in like Drag Race Reddit, and maybe I should get into that a little more, because this whole time I'm thinking of like, is this rigged? There's no way they're just spinning the wheel and this is what's happening, right? Like 𝗬𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗏ly spins and gets both money triangles, and then she spins a third time and loses it all. And then the same thing happens to the Vivienne and she gets to keep it. You know, like, they're building in little tastes of drama in this spinning wheel. I it would be hard to convince me that this wasn't a setup, you know? They're also, none of them are giving it a very hard spin either, which indicates to me that either the thing is rickety and they were just told to be gentle with it, or they knew that it was just going to do its own thing, or maybe they were strategizing and trying to get it to hit a certain thing. Who's to say? I'm skeptical, though. Anyway, so the Vivian wins all the money, and each girl is assigned a different color based on different areas in the world. One color being red for the Red Square in Moscow, and there was the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode saying, like, we filmed this a long time ago, and, you know, in light of recent events, like, we're sorry, basically. And I think they did a good job throughout the episode of, like, minimizing as much as possible any commentary about Russia, because it is a, you know, sensitive subject to talk about Russia at all, which, sidetrack for a second, I've been binge watching the new season of Stranger Things, and talk about touchy subject matter. Holy crap. Skip the next 30 seconds if you don't want spoilers, but like that opening scene, and then it just keeps happening throughout. That is some bad timing. And the main antagonist of the whole season is the Russians, the Soviet Russians, which I guess if they're the antagonists, like they're not being put in this good light, and maybe it's less touchy than like this Drag Race mention of it, but still, there's some touchy subject matter in there. However, that being said, I have really enjoyed it. I was skeptical the first episode because of that opener, and then also it felt like, you know, when a show gets really big, and then when a new season starts, they have to kind of dramatically reintroduce every character in their own kind of entrance moment, and it gets kind of corny. That's what episode 1 felt like for me, but the rest of it has been, honestly, I'm re-engrossed. So I don't know if that's a popular opinion, but I've got one episode left of this latest release, but I think there's a second part to season 4 and then a season 5, and that's the end of it. So anyway, I digress. All right, so they're each assigned a color. We've got Jinx with purple, Shea has white, Monet has green, Raja has gold, which, like, perfect for her. Evie has pink, Vivian has blue, and Trinity the Tuck has red. And then they all were just given materials and had to construct something. And frankly, I was so impressed at this section. I would have been the Jinx of the group, hot gluing things together. I can work a sewing machine, but I wouldn't know how to work with any of these materials. But because I know how to work a sewing machine, I can at the very least appreciate how difficult pretty much all of these materials are to work with. We've got silks. Trinity the Tuck used like this vinyl fabric material, it looks like. I think I saw some tulle. There's a lot of very difficult fabrics going on here. And so honestly, what all of these gals pulled out is pretty impressive. Okay, the other category, Vanna White Realness, where they had to dress like Vanna White. And then we have the before and after look, where you had to kind of shove together 2 different characters into one look using wordplay. And of course, they brought Vanna White in, which was frankly very charming, because the gag of having each queen walk out not knowing that Vanna White would be there, and then seeing her and freaking out a little bit as they walk the runway, it was cute. It was charming. It made you like Vanna White and each of the contestants a little bit more, because, you know, it showed a vulnerable side where they could get excited about, you know, what they're doing. Okay, first up was Jinx Monsoon in a blonde wig. Thank God. I'm sure this is not a popular opinion, but I really do not enjoy the red tone of her red wig that she usually wears. I'm not a bright red gal. I love a dark red, but the bright red she usually wears doesn't work for me. This hair, I mean, is it fashionable? No. But the thing about Vanna White is she's been doing this for decades. So these gals had a lot of material to work with, and they did really play with her various looks throughout the year. I think Jinx absolutely nailed it with this long, black, flowy thing. In fact, she looks similar to what Vanna White is actually wearing on the show. Again, was that planned because we're just setting Jinx up to be either the winner of this show or the major upset of this show? I don't know. I'm suspicious though. But this outfit on Jinx looked excellent. I think she nailed it. I love the sequins. I love the over-the-top wig. I think it very much is in the spirit of Vanna White realness. I think she nailed it in a way a lot of the other girls did not. And she even had like a little peak of red satin or silk on the inside of her dress, which I thought was just a charming detail that really upped the elegance of the look for me. Okay, next we have 𝗟𝗘𝗘𝗡𝗏 in this kind of pink flouncy dress. It didn't say Vanna White to me. It said like debutante ball, my coming out party moment. But she looks gorgeous. The dress is gorgeous. You know I love a sculptural moment, and those hips. I don't know what you call those hip flaps. And the flounce in the front. I mean, gorgeous. Gorgeous, but not really Vanna White for me. Next is Monet Exchange in this long white gown with the one shoulder with all of the detailing and then the just major side slits that shows off her entire leg and ass. I mean, again, she looks really great. I'm not sure if I'm seeing Vanna White in it, but I can see a play on Vanna White, which I can appreciate because I'm seeing a pattern with Monet that she likes to take themes and do a play on them. And she does that here with this. I think one of the judges mentioned something about it being kind of like the Vanna White After Dark, like the slutty version of Vanna White, which I can get behind that. So I like the concept. I don't know that I would have gone with white. I just feel like it needs to be flashier. And then Jada Essence Hall comes out with this off the shoulder, sequined kind of silvery dress with the slit up the side, and it's draping really beautifully as she walks. And the detailing all the way down, it looks like she's literally dripping in shimmer, and she's got the over the top blonde wig again. She looks super elegant, and I think she really nailed the Vanna White vibe with this. This look really worked for me. Okay, and then Raja. I think Raja's my favorite, you guys. I wasn't sure. I really didn't know coming into this who would be my favorite, but Raja has been standing out for me every episode so far. I think she really gets structural fashion, which is the thing that I like in my non-expert opinion. And I think she always looks gorgeous in and out of drag, frankly. She looks great. She's 47. How is that possible? I mean, she has gray hair, but she looks amazing all the time. And this look, I love the ruffled side up the slit of the dress. I love the one arm moment. I love the wig. She took this and she went back in time to old Vanna White, and she was inspired by old Vanna White, and it really shows in a way that like it's like 80s and awful in the absolute best way. I really loved this look. And then we have 𝗬𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗧. She comes out in this like mermaid looking gold encrusted dress with like a tulle that comes down and ends in feathers, and like it's a beautiful dress. And then this giant red wig. She looks like Ariel from Disney. Ariel, the Little Mermaid, is what she looks like. And you know, I have always said I love weird off the cuff drag. I love campy drag. I love really smart, odd, spooky, ooky, kooky drag, you know? This is not it. This felt like being weird for the sake of being weird, but like fully missing the mark. I really didn't like this look, only because it just really wasn't on theme, and so I'm not really sure where she was even going with this. You know, like it doesn't feel like a smart commentary on anything. It doesn't feel like inspired, but then kind of changed and tweaked. It feels like she just saw the theme and ignored it. And then we have the Vivienne in this like velvet wrap dress. Also didn't really do much for me. I'm not a big fan of velvet. I know that's not a popular opinion. It just looks cheap to me, and I don't know why. It just reminds me of velour tracksuits. It's all I can think of when I see velvet in any form. The silhouette of the dress is nice, but it's really simple. Like I feel like I could go to Target and buy a dress that looks very similar to this. And it also doesn't scream Vanna White to me. Vanna White is like flashy and sequins and elegant and over the top, and this really just felt safe. And then we have Trinity the Tuck, who also I feel like really nails it. It's glimmery, it's sparkly, it's gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of the dress that Jada wore. I think they went very similarly in terms of the kind of silver, sequined, long, classic, really elegant shape, but very flashy still. Beautiful draping. Like, I really think she nailed this as well. I don't discount her or Jada for having similar looks. I think I like Jada's more. I think I like that off the shoulder look a little bit more, but I would say Trinity the Tuck's shoulder moment in this is probably honestly a little bit more true to old school Vanna White, which is exactly kind of the hairstyle as well. So I feel like she's maybe grasped a more authentic version of Vanna White. And I think she nailed it too. All right, and then on our next look for this ball, we've got before and after. First up, Jinkx Monsoon with Whatever Happened to Baby Jane Fonda. I know who Jane Fonda is. I don't know what is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Should we Google it? Okay, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is a 1962 American psychological horror thriller film directed and produced by Robert Aldrich. Okay, still don't get it. Maybe if I look at pictures from it. Okay, this actually looks like a pretty good movie. I might have to watch it, but we've got a kooky lady with very white, splotchy makeup. Seems to be one of the main characters, and that makes a lot of sense given what her face looks like. And then I'm assuming the outfit is a callback to a Jane Fonda movie that I have not seen. So to say that this look went over my head is an understatement. But the judges seem to like it. I think it's well executed. I love the heel moment. A real solid thigh-high silhouette with the garters that run from the toe all the way up to the shoulder. I think it's funny, playful, campy. I think she really nailed the theme. Then we've got Shea Coulee as the Gold Tooth Fairy. Also great. Love the wings. I love that she didn't do just a traditional wing, but it's got a lot of structure and movement to it as she's walking. That's really beautiful. She's got watches up and down her arms. The details are really, really great on this, and I think it's a really fun play on the theme that's kind of unexpected but really well executed. And then we have Monét X Change as Bob the Drag Queen Elizabeth. I didn't get the bag first reference, but apparently that's a thing. Okay, I just Googled it. Apparently Bob the Drag Queen has a literal song called Purse First, so that's clearly her thing. All right, I get it. I love the lime green moment, and I think it's got like a fuchsia pink lining on the inside. Beautiful. I feel like she could have gone farther with this. She's clearly doing the Bob the Drag Queen with the purse first and the bald head. And I heard her mention once that her and Bob the Drag Queen get confused for each other, which as an outsider, I get. But I feel like there could have been more queenliness with this or something to really play up. Like, we've got Bob the Bald Drag Queen playing Queen Elizabeth. I think it could have been funnier and campier and bigger. Then we've got Jada as Bag Lady in red. Also very funny. Well executed. I love the hair wrap moment. I love that she pulled out Twizzlers from a pocket. That's funny. It's a fun idea. The leg slit up the side, like there's a lot of detailing in this dress that even though it's, hideous because it's been added pockets all over it and it's not meant to be pretty, it still is like really impressively executed. All right, and then we've got Raja as Olivia Newton-John Waters. It was such a good idea. It was such a funny idea, and it could have been so well executed if she had just drawn that tiny mustache just a little bit thicker. And I think it would have really worked. Or maybe have even gone with a creepy John Waters-esque wig of some sort so that it was really like John Waters from the neck up and Olivia Newton-John from the neck down. Unfortunately, as we can all see, and the judges all said, you literally can't see the mustache. And so it's literally just her as Olivia Newton-John, which completely misses the mark, unfortunately. But I loved the idea. I wanted it to work for her. Okay, and then we have Yvie Oddly as Cardi B Arthur. So Cardi B and B Arthur for Golden Girls. Brilliant. I loved this. The wig, and then the wig reveal, the old lady jacket, and then that reveal with just her boobs out. It was perfectly done. I loved this. It was the exact correct combination of two very different things that came together and really worked. And then we have the Vivian as Princess Diana Ross, which is an example of two very different things that really did not come together and work. I really didn't get this. I got that she was trying to be coy and shy as Princess Diana and then Diana Ross in the performance of it, but the look didn't make sense to me. Like, she's got Diana Ross hair, but it's blonde, and then she's got this blue satin jumpsuit. Because I think when we think Princess Diana now, at least for me, I think of either like really 80s suits or a bike short with like an oversized sweatshirt. That's kind of all I think about when I think of Princess Diana fashion-wise. And of course, her being kind of shy, but like, this was kind of a really hard combo for me. I don't really know what she could have done to have made it work other than come up with a different idea. All right, and then Trinity comes out as Rupaul Charles II. So she's Rupaul on top, but then also has these little knickers and kind of puffy sleeves. Let's Google what decade Charles II is from, because I don't even know. Okay, so he's the 1600s, so that outfit makes sense. It was a pretty deep cut. No one really knows about him, so it was safe in that she could kind of play with what the costume would look like. I feel like there was more creative ideas out there that she could have gone for, but it's well executed. I think the little knickers underneath are really funny, and I think she played it up in a way that looked really cool. Am I getting RuPaul from this? Not really. Okay, and then we have Realness of Fortune Eleganza. This was where they spun the wheel and were assigned a color. First up, we have Jinx Monsoon. She got purple inspired by the lavender fields of Provence. I imagine France. Is that a thing? I don't know. I've never been there. So she wears, again, her red hair. I think I need to just accept at this point that this is her hair color and there's nothing I can do about it. She has the same makeup from her last look, which kind of adds to the mysterious element of having put this piece of gauze across her face. Is it my favorite makeup I've ever seen? No, but she made it work considering that she had to go, I assume, from runway to runway without being able to really change her makeup that much. And frankly, I'm impressed that this is all just hot glued together. I don't know how she's making it work. There's some pretty impressive detailing, like along the sleeves with the little additions of what look like purple kind of leaves and flowers and petals, which makes sense. You know, lavender fields. Is it the best thing on this runway? Absolutely not. But frankly, it's an impressive showing considering the fact that she can't sew. And it's kind of Grecian inspired, which I love, and honestly was a good choice because it's drapey and you can hide mistakes a lot easier when you drape things like that. So given all of the roadblocks that she faced, I think she did a pretty good job. And then we have Shea in all white, inspired by the white cliffs of Dover. And she did say at one point that she wasn't trying to go bridal with this, but then ended up going bridal with it. And I think it really worked for her. The head wrap is a really unique idea. And then kind of wrapping the veil around herself really added a lot of interest to the look. And then the bodice, she had this like entirely made beautiful bodice. I don't know if it's probably not whalebone, right? But like the ribbing, I don't know what you call that. She made that theoretically. However, there was one point earlier in the show where she had it kind of on the mannequin, and I did wonder, or on the dress form, and I did wonder if maybe she brought that, knowing that they would probably have a challenge where they had to make things from scratch. Is that allowed? Because that would be really smart. She was like, at least I will have a structured piece that I can then build on top of. Or maybe she made it herself right there on the spot, and that is also really impressive. Either way, this look is absolutely stunning. I kind of wish she would have had a slit up the side and maybe a really long train, though. But that's just me. I think she worked really well with what she got. All right, and then we have Monet Exchange in this like harem pant 1970s inspired green ensemble. It's not her fault that she got assigned green, but wow, I hate this so much. I usually like the color green, but this specific color green is like leprechaun green, and then adding a red wig with it, like really, it's giving leprechaun from the 70s who once took a trip to India, you know? I love the gold shoe and the gold hoops. I just really hate the texture of this fabric and the color. And it just, I really don't like it. But none of that is her fault necessarily. I'm struggling to think of a look with this color that I would like. Again, I'm impressed that she was able to do all of this from scratch. And then we have 𝗟𝗘𝗘𝗝𝗧𝗦 in this all black ensemble that she, again, somehow managed to put together, which is so impressive, with these black thigh-high boots and this asymmetrical skirt. And there's so much detail. She has all of these chains going up her neck. That was just a really creative way to use that. And then this really kooky wig where it's just kind of like popping out of her head. I think she looks gorgeous. You know, I love a structured shoulder moment, and this is a really creative way to have done that. Again, I am so impressed that she was able to make all of this. This is not easy fabric to work with as far as I know, and she nailed it. And then Raja, my queen. She gets a structured moment. I will say it over and over again. I love a structural moment, and holy crap, she delivers with this. And even the little gold sunglasses. But the amount of volume she was able to get from scratch with this really difficult fabric to work with, and then to create this beautiful part on top, but then a really chic, slim silhouette from the waist down that has this beautiful slit, but also a lot of detailing on the slit. I mean, it is so impressive, so stunning. This absolutely was my favorite look of this specific runway. I'm a sucker for Raja. She gets me. And she even is playing up the kind of gray hair that she already has. I mean, I know that's a wig, but like, you know, it's a look. And then we have 𝗣𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗘𝗡𝗏 in pink. And honestly, I really like this one. Again, I'm impressed with what she was able to do with that fabric. That looks like very hard fabric to work with. I love that she's wearing this head face mask thing, but then her lips are so big and pink and sticking out. Like there's something kind of almost vulgar about it in a way that I really like. Like it's very eye-catching. I think that she really took a color that could have been made into something very traditional, stereotypical, or expected, and made something really unexpected with it. I love a cape moment. I think she nailed this. And those shoes, pink platform stilettos, very good, very kooky and weird. Loved this. And then we have the Vivienne in this like blue silk number. The judges said they really loved it. Man, was this boring for me though. Again, impressive that she was able to make this. The fascinator in her hair, I don't know if she made that too, but it really ups the interest of the whole look. And I know there's a little bit of detailing on the shoulders and the back that kind of goes along with that fascinator. But for me, this dress was just really, it was just boring. You know, like there was nothing about it that surprised me. And then Trinity the Tuck comes out in this red latex monstrosity that is so impressively made and beautiful. And the cutouts, her body is smoking hot. She looks so good. And again, you know that I love an all monochrome one color moment. And she's got this wig that goes past her ass that she then pulls aside to reveal her butt, where she's put a tiny little hole right below her butt crack. I mean, the detailing, the tease, the sass of it. If I wasn't always so gobsmacked by a structural shoulder and the color gold, Trinity would have been my number one. Raja still takes the cake, but Trinity is a close second for me. All right, and then we get to the judges' final decision, and Rupaul says that the top two of the week are Trinity the Tuck and 𝗟𝗘𝗘𝗃𝗃𝗃. I loved all of Jada's looks. I think that was correct. Trinity, the Rupaul Charles II, I think could have been more creative. I mean, the judges just sitting there came up with like 3 better ideas than that, but I think it was well executed and cute. And then that red look at the end, I mean, absolutely impressive and stunning. So I really think she earned that win. I loved Raja in this. It's really upsetting to think that a thicker pencil mustache was the one thing standing between her and being one of the winners this episode. Yikes. But I think they got it right, because I think everyone else had at least one look that for me fell flat. All right, and then we had the lip sync fee legacy between Jada and Trinity the Tuck. And we've already seen Trinity the Tuck do a lip sync so far, but I had never seen Jada do a lip sync, and she was awesome. She absolutely deserved to win that. She was so funny, playing with her wig and whipping it around. I mean, she really nailed it. I am a little confused though, because it is starting to look like they all have like a final lip sync look that they've changed into. At first I thought it was just them taking off layers of the look they had just been wearing, but some of these gals are in entirely different outfits. So I want to know if they're ahead of time planning this out and bringing entirely separate additional outfits to these lip sync things. I get that they need something that they can dance in, but like that's a lot, because like Jada's look here is very different from everything else she wore, and Trinity's also is very different. I mean, there's no way Trinity could have danced in that red thing that she was wearing, but it's a completely different outfit. I don't get it. All right, and then they danced to Green Light by Beyonce. I'm a huge Beyonce gal, so this was really fun to watch. I felt like Trinity was like overperforming through this whole thing and also kind of like getting in Jada's space while Jada was just like doing her own thing, and like a very funny, well done, really fun to watch lip sync. Whereas Trinity, I feel like she relies on kind of making goofy facial expressions and like her butt, which is fine. But I couldn't keep my eyes off Jada. I thought she absolutely rocked it. And she looked gorgeous in this random wig that she also then was able to whip around. And it was really fucking funny. So she absolutely deserved to win. And then she goes on and she gives the golden plunger to Jinkx Monsoon, which was absolutely the right pick. I mean, Jinkx is clearly one of, if not the top contenders so far, at least on the season. If I were playing against her, I would need to block her as well. So I think she made the exact right choice. And then there was talk during this episode about how 𝗏𝗡𝗥𝗧 is the only one that has a star but now hasn't been blocked. And I do kind of wonder why that is. But part of me, at least so far what I've seen based on very little back knowledge, I'm not really finding 𝗏𝗡𝗥𝗧 to be the fiercest competitor amongst these girls. And I think they can all sense that too. So they're like a little bit less intimidated by her than by like a 𝗟𝗘𝗘𝗡𝗖𝗧 or a Jinkx Monsoon. That's the vibe I'm getting. She should probably be offended by it. And maybe she is. We'll find out at next week's episode. Next week's episode, we saw in the little teaser, has a court scene in it. In case you're new here, I'm a lawyer who moonlights as a Drag Race fan. And so this is like my time to shine next week, my friends. So I hope you'll join me. That wraps up episode 3, season 7 of All Stars. Thank you for being here. Reminder that this is available both on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. In case you're someone who likes to listen to things on the go, I'm here to please. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, give me a good review if you're listening in podcast form, and I'll see you here for the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.